Top of the day to you. Welcome to the first edition of Power Chat. Power Chat is that show on radio as well as on YouTube where we share stories with inspirational individuals who have done great things in the area of enterprise business, whether small, medium, or large enterprises. It's all about breaking down the tricks, the shortcuts, the hacks to success. That's what Power Chat is all about. From businessmen to politicians to innovators to founders, name it. Anyone who's done something incredible, amazing will feature on Power Chat. On Power Chat, we talk about everything that's got to do with leadership, enterprise, business, whether small, medium, or large enterprises, how to get your voice heard and get the solutions working. Welcome to this week's episode of Power Chat right here on Democracy Radio 104.9 FM, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Uju, Her Vocal Majesty, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's episode. I have a special guest in the studio. He's going to be opening up the show for the first time, the one and only Ike Ojibe. If you've never heard of Ike Ojibe, then you are probably living under a rock. Ike is a digital entrepreneur. That's one word I don't like to use. Digital entrepreneur. Is into websites, is into app building, name it, digital. Ike has done it. Hello, Ike. Welcome to Power Chat.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, too, for being our first guest on this program.
Wow, I'm humbled.
Okay, cool. Now, let's talk a little bit about being a let me use the word thought leader in the digital process. I introduced you as a digital entrepreneur. Can you break that down for us? Who is a digital entrepreneur?
Oh, okay. Pretty much anybody that, I don't like to use the word hustle.
Yeah,
I really hate the word.
Right.
But anybody that, drives his trade, his or her trade online, we pretty much have, pretty much creatives, tech people have owned that thing, but pretty much anybody can be it, whether you're selling things online or not. But we're basically more focused on the creative side of it. I started off as a graphic designer and then, grew up to now establishing a business, a creative agency where I now have people all around, whether they are software developers, app builders and all, and as God will have it, I have an incredible team and all.
Amazing.
And yeah, we're able to build a business whereby we help people solve digital solutions for their businesses. And so whether it's digital designs or visual designs or what they call graphic design, or solutions like building platforms to help businesses and all, yeah, that's what we pretty much do.
You're pretty young, so I'm tempted to ask you, when did this all start? I mean, when we were growing up, we all wanted to be lawyers and doctors, maybe a few politicians, whatnot. But at what point did you realize that this is the direction you wanted to go?
Okay, so I just knew that I don't like working for anybody.
How early in life did you know that?
I just started so here's an interesting story. When I was about entering secondary school, I already entered. So I had my first meeting with the guidance and counselor. So she was asking, what do I want to be in the future? I looked at it and I asked her, where does anybody that doesn't want to work for anybody want to work?
Wow, that young, you were that aware.
Yeah, I didn't want to work for anybody, but I really didn't know any direction to take then. But immediately after, while I was approaching the end of my year in university, I just decided then that, okay, I wasn't going to do CV for anything. I was just going to finish my NYSC and figure out what I want to do. And then when I finished my NYSC, I found YouTube and a lot of videos on design. I think it was design. But prior to then, I really liked beautiful design. So I'm one of those people that buy things because they are really packaged, they are really designed well.
Not necessarily quality, just, oh wow, interesting. So
I was like, okay, I can make this. So I just told myself I can make this. That's how I dabbled into, I started designing and all that. And I found a calling there and an amazing community and all. That's just how the whole story started.
That's lovely. So from what you've said, I can see a trail, It started with the desire not to want to work for anybody, and then you found something that attracted you, which was design. you learned about it from YouTube, so you're a proud graduate of YouTube University, and now you have expanded. So walk us through that journey of starting at one point, and now you are literally being able to provide services and solutions across board in the digital space.
Okay, so it's always been about learning for me. So YouTube, like I said, on YouTube, I found YouTube and then I just sat on it for like 6 months. So I found this amazing design on YouTube. I'm like, if this guy can do this, I can do this. So I sat on it for like 6 months at home and figured out, okay, I turned out to be great. And I remember my first pay, that was 8,000 naira after the first job I did.
Wow.
After that was like 8,000 naira. And then I realized, okay, I can refine this. And so please, for anybody like listening to us, like I always, encourage people to refine. So aside from YouTube, I actually went to design school in Lagos afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I had I was introduced to the wider community, and what even made my journey easier was meeting the likes of my mentor, Tola Alabi, and all. And then from the graphic design space, I realized that aside from being a graphic designer, I was also good at business. I discussed with people, and I found out that then we had this tech hub whereby I see developers and people coming to me and like pitch me to come and meet their clients and discuss and help them break down whether it's negotiation and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm getting good at this. Like, there's a calling here. So aside from just doing this myself, I can actually lead people to do this. So that was when AC Studio was created and all. And then I decided, okay, you guys, it was all about collaboration and all that. Why don't you collaborate with me? And I found out like I got people that they were just interested in the technical aspect of it and not the business aspect of it.
Okay.
Like, I can help you make more money. Let me handle your business aspect and why you do the technical aspect. And I started reading up on whether it's web designing, whether it's app development and all that.
Yeah.
And that's just getting here and there, here and there. And before we know it, in 2019, a business was formed.
So you're basically saying you're not the all in all in that business?
No.
You're not the brain behind all the aspects of the business.
Nobody can wear like, so nobody can do all that at once. So what I do is like I learn a bit and bits of this and then so that I can understand and being in that space, like I said, being in that space makes it easier for you and all. And so I just pretty much started as a creative director and all that, and that's still what I am today. That's what they call me, and what I like to not necessarily the CEO, the creative director.
All right, cool. Now let's talk about telling us how you grew from starting to learn designs and expanding your knowledge base as well as collaborating with other people. While you were achieving all of that on the outside, the results people could see, what was happening on the inside? Did you have times, days, weeks, months where you just felt like, nah, I'm dusting off my CV, going to get a job, or did you just feel discouraged because of the whole environment?
Oh, well, it was chaotic. That's the best way to put it. It was chaotic, and I've quit a million times.
Yikes!
I've quit a million times. So it just happens that you quit and then just go to bed and sleep and then wake up and just say, okay, let's start again. So it's like you're starting again every day. And it got to this point. It was just when you feel like you're putting in so much and then you're not getting, it gets frustrating, and especially expectations being on you and all that, and sometimes the journey gets frustrating. You question, why did I start this in the first place and all that, and that's this thing about self-doubt when you start, especially when you start comparing yourself, because I had friends that we all left school together and then we're having assistant bank managers and all that, and like people in the corporate, you're asking yourself like, and you're still here dragging like you can go weeks, months without being pretty much being broke. There was this period I just told myself, okay, I'm done. I just closed up. I just closed up the laptop. So I was going to just move to Lagos, and mind you, I'm not a fan of Lagos, but for me to make that decision, I was going to like, so I applied. I know I was good. I applied. I got this job in Lagos. They've already accepted. They sent me the whole. It was looking all nice and all. I wanted to accept, but there was this thing in my heart. Like I felt like I was committing a terrible act and all that. Like it felt heavy, and I just kept pounding. So I told the lady then. I still have the email. I told the lady then. I think this was happening in 2017. Or 2018. So yeah, I told the ladies, like, okay, please let her give me like 48 hours to get back to her. Like I had no peace at all. I'm like, so I was battling with myself. This is not what you like, this is not the route. You're just gonna give up because of life and all that. So the next day, I just slept, woke up the next day, I'm like, nah, I'm not taking this job and all that. I have to stay back here and build this. And mind you, I had no, I wouldn't say there was any glimmer of hope. Like, I felt like there was no glimmer of hope. There was nothing.
Seriously, your conviction to not work for somebody was that strong?
It was that strong. And so I told the lady that, oh, sorry, I'm not, I won't be taking the job. And she couldn't believe it and all. Because mind you, I wasn't living in Lagos for them to give me this opportunity.
Okay, so if the opportunity was in Abuja, would you have probably taken it?
No, I wouldn't have taken it or not. Like,
okay, that's serious.
I would have taken it. But okay. I'm just trying to say this. You always have those days where you doubt, and it happens. And some days you give up. You genuinely give up, and then probably for some time, probably for a year, probably for 6 months and all. But that's just the life.
Wow, that's quite interesting. Because some people set out, so someone looks at you, is inspired by you, and they say, if he can do it, I can do it. The same way you felt about those you watched on YouTube. And then the person begins, and then the chaos begins. And they feel like, it can't really be this hard. So they back down, but they have to deal with the guilt of failing, in quote. Yeah. Is there a way to fail? The expression motivational speakers use fail forward and stuff. Is there talk to us about failing forward, because apparently, from what you've described, you fail forward a couple of times because you're still here.
I'm still failing today.
Oh, yes.
I am still failing today. It's not something you get over, but that's where I draw my greatest strengths from.
Okay.
And what I eventually realized, and I'm grateful for and that's why the system you put around you is important, like the system you build for yourself as an entrepreneur. It's never a walk in the park. It's not, so we look at these people, you look at, there's this interview I saw of Elon Musk. He's pretty much the richest guy in the world right now. And then they were interviewing him, like, okay, everything he has accomplished, about what's his advice for the next person. I said, nobody should desire to be like him. His world is chaotic, his mind is chaotic. He wouldn't wish himself on anybody. So it's pretty much the same thing for, like, I would not say, do not look at, yes, you can see from the outside, it feels like I have everything all figured out, but it's still chaotic. You're going to doubt. But one thing I've come to learn is, like, detach yourself from the failure. It is not you that have failed. It is this, whether it's a journey or whether it's a paper or whether it's a project, that is what failed. And you can learn what you want to learn from it, restart again if it has to be restarted, or just leave it if it has run its course. So I've had loads of business that I've failed at. Just I don't mention them because, like, but I have loads of projects that I've failed at and all. But people only remember you for the ones that you you kept at, and then, but even still in those ones, there are still things you're not able to. You can't win everything, but embrace your failures. That's the thing. That's I would say, embrace your failures, because we learn more from failing than we learn from, in fact, we don't even learn from winning. Okay,
so it's still Power Chat on Democracy Radio, and I have Ike Richibe here, a digital entrepreneur. Now, my next question to you, Ike, is all the things you've said took you, like, roughly how many years? 10 years? Is it up to?
Yeah, about 9 years.
About 9 years, okay. So if somebody wants to begin now, to start off their journey, maybe fresh out of university, fresh out of secondary school, whatever, if a person wants to start now, where would be the best place you would recommend for them to begin?
Okay, so everything starts with you. Like, everything starts with you. Okay. In my journey, I used to think it was what we created was the greatest thing, but I realized that God has blessed each and every one of us with the greatest, let me use our vocabulary, software. and that is your brain and all that. So you yourself, your working product, your working project and all. So it just starts with you wherever you are. I don't care, like whether you're in your 30s, 40s, just as long as you decide you want to start today, whether you're 18. It's always better to start earlier, but you just say you want to start today. And the beautiful thing about today is, I don't want to, but there are things that makes it easier. For example, AI. It now makes it easier to be in my space right now. We're able to do things that usually takes us days, months.
Okay.
We can now do it in minutes, hours, just because a lot of AI integration into our this thing. However, the most important thing is that you need to have a staying power. You need to decide that, okay, whatever comes, am I able to chest this? Am I able to go through this journey? So you need to answer that question. You need to ask, you need to have a why. It's just like when they tell people when you're deciding who to get married to, there must be a why, like so that reminds you. So for when the ups and downs and all that, and then there are so many down days
True.
at this part. So have a strong why. So that why will be there with you for the night you're gonna cry and rant and all that, and just have your why.
So the starts by first of all deciding, having a why, and then so for a person to do this, do they have to go to like a formal school? Do they have to do some kind of training, or still go back to YouTube? What exactly do you? Because these days we know that content creators are king, so to speak.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you propose?
Okay, you don't need a formal school per
Right.
se, yeah. So it can be expensive for people. Like you can start with what you have, like YouTube. There's tons of free content whereby you can learn a lot of things on YouTube.
Okay.
You can just research by yourself. But pretty much, the world is a global market now, where you can, and now we have AIs that are helping make things. So you can pretty much just start. And the beautiful thing is that we now have free skill acquisitions, whether it's online or now governments are trying to bring in field. So just start with what you can afford. Like if you can afford to go to a proper formal institution, go.
Right.
But if you can't, there's definitely something you can start with. You can start with learning under someone. That's like even the faster way, because it will help you. The experience you get. I'll say my journey has been faster because immediately I aligned myself under someone, like, okay, I want to learn under you and all that. So like, just you can start that way.
Okay, can I confidently call you a tech bro?
Some people try.
Okay, because I know that the world is gravitating towards technology now. Everyone wants to be a tech bro, this, tech that. And they are making a healthy sum from it. And it's legitimate business, of course. So you're saying, decide that this is what you want to do. Build up staying power, get a mentor, get education where necessary, whether formal or informal. All right, now let's talk about, let's prepare the minds of somebody who's looking to go into either tech or digitization, or become a digital entrepreneur like you. What challenges should they look forward to? What should they be expecting somewhere along the line?
Well, Nigeria is already a challenge.
Yeah, being Nigerian is a superpower.
It's already a challenge and all. And well, I just wish the government can just stay clear. Can just get out of the way, like try as much as possible to get out of the way. There are things that are basic that I do not. It pains me that it's things that we're still talking about in today's world, where people are, we're still struggling for power, power supply and all that, and it's, that.
But if they get out of the way, how are we not going to get the power?
Oh, okay. I'll get to the get out of the way part and all that. But like, even in the power part, it's just if they can just fix that and get out of the way, like, or people are now able to now generate their own this thing. And then I'm hearing things like, oh, okay, we're now taxed on solar panels and stuff like that. Crazy things that people, basically with tax, government is just trying to like grab as much as they want, because every economy is it's built up on the back of small and medium businesses, not necessarily the large. Yes, the large might be able to do a lot of, but then the small and medium are able to employ the vast majority of people, and people are able to build their purchasing power because they have things they do, small businesses, medium, and all that. But if government is able to just provide the basic things as much as they just give us power, like people in the tech will tell you, just at least just give us power and all that. I don't have to leave my house and go to pay for a place just because I want to set up my laptop and all that. I can work at this from home. Now, it's quite very expensive to now run diesel or fuel these days and all that. Or then you have to go solar and all. And then we now talk about the internet option and all that. And recently, data has just been hyped across board and all that. Everybody's just, so it's a lot. I just wish the government can help. There's a community, the tech has a community whereby people are willing to help each other, people are willing to like, so just find that community that works for you and you're able to do. Yeah, so I think.
Okay. All right. Now, in closing, let's talk a little, let's go back to a bit of invading our privacy. So let's talk a little bit about what has been your, you talked about staying power earlier. What has helped to keep you grounded all of these years? Through the good times, through the bad times, through the broke days, through the discouragement days? What exactly is that ingredient that keeps you grounded and centered?
Okay, that part, three factors for me. The first is God. I'm a very spiritual person because I believe life is spiritual and all that. We don't go. It's just like the same way. You need an influence to go through this journey. So for some people, they find it in substances. For some people, they find it whatever, like, you know. But I find it in God, like be able to like take me through scenarios like this. And I found out like some of the dramatic or some of the chaotic moments have just been, you know, me and God battling it out and all that. So for me, it's God. And I think it's a support system. It can be family. And some of us are lucky to have families that are just there for you and support you, even though they do not understand. Like, are you sure you don't want to just, you know, get a job and all? But you know we love you, so you say like, you know, if it fails, you still have a home here and all that. Like, and you know, someone like I would say someone like my mentor Tola Alabi, I owe him a lot because I've learned a lot from his experience and all that, and having to. So, and then the last would just be have a strong why. Why am I doing this? So every day I wake up telling myself like it's not about me. It's because of I have people that I work with. I start calling their names across board. Like, this is why I'm waking up today. So if it's about me, I'll just go back to bed. I'm not meant to suffer like this. So I start calling their names and all that. So in my conversation with myself and God, like, this is why. Because he's married, he has how many kids and all that. If we don't do this, he won't be able to do this for his family. And we just want to help the unemployment rate in Nigeria and help people. So these are the three things that just keep me going.
That's quite interesting. It's been Power Chat, and Ike has given us his three ingredients: God, community, supportive one, and also why. What are your three reasons, or maybe seven, or even one? What are your reasons for sticking it out when you face tough days? Power Chat, like I said, is that program that gives you an opportunity to peek into the lives of those who appear to be getting it all right all the time. We hear the stories, we hear how they hacked the system, and we're able to get to the peak of their careers. This is how much we can bring to you today. Thank you very much, Aiko Jibe, digital entrepreneur, for your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to you too. So, do the needful. Three things: like, subscribe, and hit Democracy 9 FM. And my name is